Alright guys, new Battlefield 6 update, new map, new weapons, and some big patch notes. Gonna be telling you guys all the information you need to know. Can't lie, if you guys have been coming in the streams the past 4 or 5 days, I've been having some very frustrating sessions on this game. Let's just say the audio is really driving me up a wall. But there are some great fixes and additions in this update. Sadly, footstep audio isn't one of them, but I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. Let's start going over everything, though. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the sub button, hit the like button, and of course, swing by the streams. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. Maybe I'm live right now playing the new map. I'm very interested to see how Eastwood is going to play. In my opinion, this map it just has to be non-negotiable good. They cannot afford to go 0 for 2 on maps in the first season of the game. We all know the first map, Blackwell Fields, is certainly not a fan favorite. Some people can find redeeming qualities of it, but I think the general consensus is that map was a big miss. So when it comes to Eastwood, it just simply has to be good. Maybe if you guys are watching this after you've played Eastwood, you can comment down below, tell me what you think about it. I've heard it's good from people that have had early access. Like I think Silk and some other creators are saying on Twitter that they've played it and it's good. So it better be true. This update in part of Season 1 is called California Resistance. The overview of what this section of Season 1 will hold is, of course, the new map. Variations of Eastwood will be available on all official game modes. There will be 2 new weapons, the DB12 shotgun and the M357 sidearm. I'm interested in the sidearm in particular. People are saying it's a revolver that has 8 shots, and the Magnum that's in the game right now is one of my favorite sidearms anyway, so I'm certainly looking forward to using a new revolver. Gauntlet mode will also be receiving a new mission type called Rodeo. There will be portal updates, which includes a new feature called Sandbox Map, and apparently this feature will allow you to start building a map with a level playing field. So I guess it'll just be an empty area where you can build whatever you want in Portal. For those of you wondering about an additional battle pass, there will be a new California Resistance limited time bonus path that will open up with this update. On top of that, we're getting a brand new attachment called the Slim Hand Stop. This is unlocked via a challenge. There is no information as to what the Slim Hand Stop actually does. It is a grip, so we can assume that it might reduce recoil, or perhaps it's like the other variant of the Hand Stop, which allows SMGs to fire while sprinting. And the last thing mentioned coming in this update is a feature that will be apparently coming later in the update. Are some little things called battle pickups. Those of you that played Battlefield 4 will know exactly what this is. They say that these are powerful weapons that will be available in specific experiences in Portal with limited ammunition, but pack enough firepower to help you turn the tide of battle. Again, if you played Battlefield 4, you would know you pick up the 50 cal or the grenade launcher, or I believe there was even a battle pickup called the RAR, which was like a remote-controlled tank thing. Battle pickups won't be immediately available. They did say they're coming later in the update, but they didn't specify what they meant by that. So, in terms of battle pickups, I guess we just have to wait. Now, moving on to the patch notes and big changes coming in this update, there are quite a few pertaining to controller, and there are some very questionable changes pertaining to the gunplay, which we'll cover a little bit later. We'll talk about the controller aim assist changes first. Apparently, DICE has reverted aim assist to the open beta values. When Battlefield 6 launched, they actually increased slowdown at longer ranges, but once the game went live, they saw that players were complaining that it made high zoom aiming feel quote-unquote less smooth and harder to control. I was talking about this specific change with my chat earlier, and they were telling me that reverting to the open beta aim assist settings is essentially an aim assist nerf, but some other people were saying it's an aim assist buff. So there's some confusion regarding this. In the comment section down below, you can comment and let me know and everyone else know whether or not this is a nerf or a buff for the strength of aim assist. But that isn't it for you controller players. In this update, there were a ton of bug fixes and improvements made to the controller experience. Everything from stick acceleration, stick input, to dead zones that were completely incorrect. So in terms of the controller experience, big changes here. Controller gameplay might feel completely different after this update. Again, you're going to have to let me know in the comments section, but a ton of improvements and a ton of changes for the experience of playing on a controller. Moving on to a very important bug fix. Have you ever played Battlefield 6 and you're running around and then suddenly you get flung up into the air randomly? Yes, that is a bug people have been complaining about for a very long time, and apparently they have fixed it in this update. They said they have fixed bouncing behavior when landing on object edges. So hopefully this is a fix for the bug that randomly flings you up in the air. I know that's very annoying. I've gotten some cool kills on accident just from that happening, but I've also died a lot because of it. Now, moving on to the vehicle section of the patch notes, it has to be said, not just for the vehicle section, but for all of the patch notes, there are just a lot of really insignificant miscellaneous changes that I will be skipping over. So if you do want to read the entirety of the patch notes, I will be linking that in the description. But for the vehicle section, they fixed several cases where the IFV's MR missile was just doing more damage than was intended, and they fixed a very strange bug that actually caused the transport helicopter's hitbox to be oversized, which obviously meant it was way easier to hit. Now getting to some of the real big important changes that are maybe questionable in this update, the weapons section, they have done a tuning pass on spread or bloom or dispersion. There are like 50 terms people call this shit. It's called spread. That's what I'm going to be calling it for the remainder of this video. They have addressed spread in a tuning pass, and apparently spread has been globally reduced very slightly to reduce its impact on the experience of the game. This is a bad move in my opinion. The weapons in Battlefield 6 are already incredibly accurate, especially when you learn how to burst fire. I honestly think they're making this change for free-to-play Battle Royale players that don't know how to play the game. It's either those players, or they're just doing it because the Battlefield community does have a bit of a skill issue when it comes to learning how to shoot weapons in this game. Weapons are very accurate. I don't think weapons needed to be more accurate. I actually think we need to avoid laser beam gunplay as much as possible in Battlefield. We saw the effects of laser beam gunplay during Battlefield 2042, and eventually it got so bad the developers had to completely rework the gunplay in that game, because assault rifles were beaming people out to 150 meters. Now, I know what some people are going to type, Ender's 150 meters in real life isn't that far away for an assault rifle. Well, this is a video game, and video games require balance, and this stuff is very delicate, and I'm just worried that they're going to go overboard and make the weapons too accurate. People are already complaining submachine guns are too accurate. Just wait until ARs and carbines and light machine guns are even more accurate, and those weapons deal way more damage over range. So it's a very slippery slope with this stuff. They have to be very careful, and I'll be extremely interested to see how the game plays after this change. Other than that, there isn't really much to talk about in the weapons section. Like I said, a lot of these changes are just very miscellaneous. Some of the other highlights are the fact that they have reduced recoil for the LMR-27, M39, and SVDM DMRs. If you were already a big fan of these DMRs, well, get ready because they're even better now. Moving on to the gadget section to discuss a peculiar change on the surface, but this actually makes quite a bit of sense and can save you in certain situations. They have allowed friendly soldiers to damage and detonate certain friendly gadgets. They are referring to mines and probably C4, and you might ask the question, well, why does this actually matter? Sometimes you will see an enemy infantry standing on your teammate's mine in the middle of the open, and instead of shooting at them, you just shoot the mine. You can't do that right now. I have actually not been able to kill tanks that are sitting on my teammates' mines because I cannot shoot them. Now we can shoot them, which means if infantry or a vehicle is sitting on a disabled mine, we can shoot it with our weapon in order to actually kill those enemies. Moving down the list, we actually got some new settings that are going to be added to the game in this update. They have added a new option that allows players to sprint automatically when you push the joystick fully forward, but even cooler than this, they added a new keybind that allows the player to instantly swap to the knife. A lot of players, including myself, found it irritating that you had to hold the melee button in order to pull out your knife so you can run faster, which of course helps with moving around the map. So they added a keybind that will allow you to instantly pull the knife out, but you will not be able to instantly perform takedowns. You will have to pull the knife out first, and then, of course, hit it again to start the melee takedown. Moving on to audio, there are some pretty cool things in here, but again, a lot of miscellaneous changes. The most important things are definitely the fact that they added new sound effects for the double ping to make sure they are differentiated from each other. They added new soldier movement and gunfire sound effects, and they did mention footsteps a single time in this post, and they said they corrected swimming, obstruction, and platform footstep audio. So there is not a general footstep audio patch note or anything. They didn't do a big audio overhaul. That is the only time they ever mentioned footstep audio. unfortunately. And the very final thing of note they mentioned is for NVIDIA graphics card users specifically. This does not apply to AMD or Intel or wherever else is out there. They fixed an issue where frame rate would be capped to 300 FPS with NVIDIA graphics cards. Not that anybody is getting 300 FPS, but if you're a psycho and you play this game on, like, I don't know, 720p with a 5090, maybe you'll get 300 FPS. And that about does it for this update. I'm excited for the new weapons and the new map, and I'm very interested to see how the gameplay changes affect Battlefield 6. I hope they didn't overdo it with the gunplay stuff. I hope we don't have laser beam gunplay when I log on today, but maybe I'll look at the comments and you guys will tell me everything's fine. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are just barreling towards, I think, 110,000 subs. I've been so overwhelmed. I've been just trying to get the content out and keep up with everything. I mentioned the game has been pissing me off a little bit at the beginning of the video, but that doesn't mean I'm not having fun with it. This has definitely been the most fun I've ever had with Battlefield while being a content creator, and this is only the beginning, so really do appreciate you guys. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, and let me know how this update is, and I will see you guys in the next video.